All right, thank you for staying with us. It is time now to know what's on the front pages of Nigerian newspapers. Dario Odufowokan is here in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
While broadcast journalist Ify Onygbule joins me via Zoom. Ify, good morning.
Good morning, Veronica. Thanks for having me this beautiful morning.
Right. Let's head straight to the papers now, and I begin with the business day. Disco to roll out over 2 million new meters by year end. Disco's to roll out over 2 million new meters by year end. You find details on the pages of the business day. We'll move to the Daily Independent. Federal government to boost economy, open opportunities with 5G. Federal government to boost economy, open opportunities with 5G. To the Daily Sun now, Akeredolu hits Miyetti Allah, vows to fully implement anti-open grazing law in Ondo. Give us time to train our members, Mark Ban begs Lagos. All right, you find details of the story on the pages of the Daily Sun. To the Daily Times now, security agencies requested for telecom shutdown in Zamfara. Federal government. Security agencies requested for telecom shutdown in Zamfara. You find details on the pages of the Daily Times. To the Blueprint, Zamfara telecom shutdown 7 days after tension mounts over fate of abducted 73 school kids. 7 days after tension mounts over fate of abducted 73 school kids. Details on the pages of the Blueprint. To the First News newspaper now. Autumn again, Fulani herdsmen have displaced 1.5 million Benue citizens. Governor also claims federal government is in bed with violent herders. All right, that's Autumn speaking, Governor of Benue State speaking there. All right, you find details of the story on the pages of the First News newspaper. To This Day newspaper now, Masari, with hindsight, we should never have negotiated with bandits. Masari, with hindsight, we should never have negotiated with bandits. Set to ban open grazing, says it's un-Islamic, declares nomadic herding mustn't be encouraged in any form. Identifies informants as greatest challenge to fight against insecurity. Details on the pages of This Day newspaper. To the Daily Trust now, 30 states risk bankruptcy as Lagos, Rivers set for new VAT regime. 30 states risk bankruptcy as Lagos, Rivers set for new VAT, value-added tax regime. Details on the pages of the Daily Trust. To the national economy, how VAT could help states create value, improve business, environment. All right, how VAT could help states create value, improve business, environment. You find details on the pages of the national economy. To the Guardian newspaper now, manufacturers deplore stalemate as FIRS Rivers insist on VAT collection. FIRS Rivers insist on VAT collection. All right, this Nigerian newspaper now, as VAT war escalates, Rivers will start collecting VAT this September. As VAT war escalates, Wike says Rivers will start collecting VAT this September. Governor of Rivers State speaking there. To the Nigerian News Direct, VAT tussle, FIRS writes National Assembly. FIRS writes National Assembly. To the Punch newspaper now, VAT collection row, Wike talks tough, Lagos defense bill as FIRS writes National Assembly. Rivers orders firms to begin payment. FIRS letter won't stop us, says Lagos. Rivers generated 15 billion naira, got 4.7 billion naira. Kanu made 2.8 billion naira, got same. Wike speaking there. All right, to the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, FIRS Rivers, Lagos lock horns over VAT, Gombe begs. Law backs us, states can't collect VAT, FIRS insists. Gombe begs southern states to be brothers keepers in push for VAT collection. Wike threatens to take over FIRS offices in Rivers, says Rivers money not for Abuja people. All right, you find details on the pages of the Vanguard newspaper. to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Rivers got 4.7 billion naira of 15 billion naira VAT. Kanu received same 2.8 billion naira generated. Wike reveals, laments injustice. All right, find details on the pages of the Nigerian Tribune. To the Nation newspaper now, Lagos joins Rivers in raging battle over VAT collection. Wike to firms, start paying now. Judgment not limited to Rivers, says Lagos government. And that is where we will begin our conversation this morning. And I'll begin with you, Ify. This row between the federal government in terms of the FIRS and states, a lot of persons have said that is beginning to generate conversations around the issue of fiscal federalism. Is that states are taking their destinies in their hands? Is that what you see playing out? Ify, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Right, I can hear you now.
I'm here. Yes, I'm saying that it is just clear. The handwriting is right there on the wall. Years ago, we used to ask the question, who will bell the cat? And it's not surprising that a gentleman wakes up right there in the south of Nigeria, and he's belling the cat and saying, look, we have to do the right thing. Excuse me. He's been spitting fire, if I want to put it that way. He's not pouring venom as it is, but he's saying, look, what will should be what it is that we will use to set our state right, to do things in our state. It is not for other states as it is. The headline you just talked about this morning says, Rivers money is not for Abuja people, which is correct. Everyone is living somewhere. You're domiciled somewhere. You have something that you can actually tap into in your state to make money. So why are you looking at the monies that other people are making? And I'm also thinking that this is a fallout of what happened after the PIB, came into full force and all of that. You hear that pipelines are passing through somewhere, and they're saying that place needs to be called an oil-producing state as it is. So we've got to wake up. Things are beginning to happen now, and I'm hoping that the federal government takes it in its stride.
Right. Let's bring the conversation to the studio. We already see Wike saying that if you look at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, he's saying he's threatening to take over FIRS offices in Rivers, says Rivers money is not Abuja, it's not for Abuja people. And there are those who have criticized the manner in which he is going about this. And I'm wondering what you see going up, how he's handling these issues as well.
I want to believe that we're at a critical point. At this point, we should look at the message.
Not the messenger.
And ignore the messenger as much as possible. Well, fine, Wike has his own styles. We can't fight him over it. He's human after all. But I think we're making one error.
Right.
It may just take away the shine from all this. We are looking at Wike versus federal government. Let's play down the Wike part of this issue. He's not saying anything new. This whole thing he's saying is the whole issue about resource control. You can look back at how many years we've been on that. It's the whole essence of restructuring. And if we look at it properly, there is no way. We are just starting with the most obvious, value-added tax. What is it about? What you consume, what I consume, the tax on it. That's what value-added tax is. So how can I sit in Lagos and consume a crate of beer, for example, and then value-added tax is deducted, kept somewhere, to be taken to Abuja, to be shared among 36 states, including states where the consumption and sales of beer are not allowed. It does not make for justice.
So when this is addressing the injustices.
It will address, one, injustice. Two, the issue of resource control. Then three, the issue of internally generated revenue as it relates to states. Weak and strong state issues will soon whistle away if we look at this issue the way Wike and Lagos are looking at it. Right. Because there are so many things each state can use to boost its revenue. The issue of VAT has been tested in the courts, and it appears what Wike and others are saying is the obvious. Let each state collect its own VAT.
But we see states are begging, Gombe for instance, that southern states should be their brother's keepers.
Then you should come, you come and agree with me that it has to do with resource control. I like the man from Gombe. He is not laying claim like some others are doing. He's saying, be your brother's keeper. We know that some of you would benefit more.
Yes.
But it only depends on how we look at it. Have we been fair, even in the sharing? If
which has also
Rivers generated 15 billion and got 4-point-something billion back. Another state generated 2.8
and got same.
And got the exact. What is the formula? I think if over the years we've based the formula on what you generate, a particular percentage of it goes back to you and it runs across board. If that is what we've been doing, maybe we won't be here.
Right.
But we have not been fair. We have not been justifiable in our handling of even the pooling together and sharing. Now, the issue is about let Lagos money stay in Lagos. Abuja money should be shared because it is Abuja money. Kano money should stay in Kano. And Gombe money should stay in Gombe. Let's stop this idea. A government that takes the resources from the base, take it to the top and send it back. It's not a government that would satisfy all stakeholders. All right. It's not a government that will meet all needs where it ought to be met. So I think what we are witnessing, Ify, is just the beginning of the wider discussion on resource control and on restructuring.
Right. Let me come back to you, Ify. If you look at the front page of the Daily Trust, still talking about this matter, it is reported that 30 states risk bankruptcy as Lagos Rivers set for new VAT regime. Right. But then, if at the end of the day, because we hear the FIRS is appealing that ruling in Rivers, if at the end of the day, the state governments get to win this case in terms of taking responsibility of whatever it is generated in their states, are you confident that they will be able to administer this monies, this huge amount of monies, to the best interest of the people of their state and the state at large? All right, I hear there's some technical challenge there, but then let me bring the question to you, Dari. If at the end of the day this comes back to the states, the ruling, because it has been appealed, like we mentioned, are you confident that each of the states will be able to ensure that their people benefit from whatever is being generated from their states?
The states in Nigeria have been receiving federal allocation. States in Nigeria have been generating IGR and spending. There is no talk about confidence here. If we go into that
judiciously,
you will be. Nobody can predict that all states will spend it judiciously. I won't sit down here and say that. I am only saying let the money.
Because that's the fear for some people. Accountability.
Are you telling me when it goes to Abuja there is accountability? Accountability,
blocking loopholes, and ensuring that there is nothing called corruption at the end of the day.
Are you saying when it goes to Abuja, we are blocking loopholes, we are ensuring accountability?
No, it's a question.
I'm telling you that whatever happens to the money is not a function of where it is. It's a function of the people handling it.
That's the issue.
But we won't have a governor in office for 10, 20 years or forever. People will change. So let's have the money. Let's see the man who will spend it judiciously do. Let's see those who will do otherwise. Try it. Then let the people know that the more money that gets into the hand of an individual who is in power, the more interest we must show in what he is doing. You see, the issue of accountability, the issue of judicial spending of money is not to be left to the governor and his people. No.
But you know how we as a people have
We all
performed
must realize that
when it comes to issues of holding government to account.
that is where the issue of anti-corruption starts. That is where the issue of accountability starts. It starts with us. It is only when we can hold them to account that they will realize that they have to be accountable. Where they think they can do anything and still get away with it, the likelihood of every man who sees money to want to tamper with it is very high. Like a common saying, that every thief who is yet to have the opportunity to steal will regard himself as a saint.
Right.
Yes, every criminal who is yet to get the opportunity to practice his crime will see himself as a good man. So when we fight this war, when we finish this discourse and such monies are to stay with the governors, then we all need to gather our loins and realize that more work for us in ensuring accountability, because that's more money for them to twist us around. That's more money for them to acquire political power.
You see?
Yes, if we are careless. But if we stand up to it, look at the figures Wike is reeling out now.
15 billion, over 15
We never
billion.
had that before.
Right.
Now, I am going to be one of those, if Wike and others wins, who will tell Mr. Wike, you have to, every month, tell me and tell Nigerians how much you are getting from VAT. Now, just the way you told us this one, to win an argument, you must tell us so that we can monitor that money. It becomes important. And if he and other governors aren't telling us, we as citizens must find ways of knowing what is being. I'll tell you the importance and advantage of this.
Right.
Companies will now pay to the state governors. When they send to Abuja and they ask the state governor, this road leading to our side is deplorable. They say, we are waiting for allocation. They didn't pay such monies to the state. So there is little or no demand they can make. Now, when I, as an individual who runs a company, pays to the state, I can make demands. I can expect the state to do certain things. You understand? To make business viable, the business environment to be better.
Right.
So these are going to be the fallout of this ongoing discourse, because it is a matter of looking at how, it's still part of looking at how we want to live together. Where some people feel we are being shortchanged, so that state A is being shortchanged so that state B can survive. There is always that feeling of animosity. It may not be on the surface yet, but it will just be there. Where some people feel if we don't wait on state C, state E cannot survive. There will still be that feeling of insecurity. Then we are seeing states coming out to say, look, come, be your brother's keeper. If you want state A to be his or her brother's keeper in this situation, be ready to be your own brother's keeper in other situations.
Right.
That is it. Now, certain things emanating from your own state appear to be threatening survival of our own state too. Be your brother's keeper in that area too.
Perhaps this will force us to have that critical conversation.
Discussion, that conversation, that discourse that borders on how we want to live together. If you realize that you need me to be considerate over VAT issue, you will naturally become considerate even before I ask you over certain issues that you have hitherto been holding critical to. Now you begin to become flexible. Oh, we are going to go to table with them over that issue, so let's take it easy. It will help our coexistence. It will help our nationhood. If I know that my right is not being forced out of my hand, but I'm merely being considerate. Okay, yes, we get this VAT from Lagos. We have agreed to give certain percentage for nation building. That goes to Abuja. We keep the mass, but we have contributed to nation building. No, we've not been mandated. You see, there are ways we go about discussions that it affect the psyche of the individual.
Right.
And that's the point where we are now. It's not just about VAT. It's not just about this discussion should not be narrowed down to a discussion about money. No, it is a discussion about our entire nationhood, how we want to live together.
Perhaps this will be the beginning.
We're just starting, and I appreciate Wike this time for testing this in the courts.
All right. Not
his usual way of going to FRS and saying we want to start. This is gentlemanly of him. I am impressed by what he has done, and I give a whole lot of kudos to the Lagos State House of Assembly,
who are considering.
They just simply set about we want to put in place a law.
All right.
And the law, the process. They are telling us by the day as they are going.
Ify is back on the line, and I want her to also weigh in on this question that I raised with regards to her confidence on if, at the end of the day, state governments are saddled with the responsibility. Are you confident that they will judiciously use this monies to the benefit of the state?
Yeah, I think so. And I think we're right there where governors need to start to be responsible to the citizens, to the people who voted them into office. It's important for them to understand now that whatever it is that you generate from VAT, which is great, what it is that Wike is doing, and Sanwo-Olu right there in Lagos. These are two states that have taken their destinies, so to say, in their hands to say, look, if we make the money right here in our state, we're going to use it to put the state up, get it to the level where the citizens can sleep with their two eyes closed. They turn on the taps, you have water coming from it. They have power. They have a conducive environment where they can get to work, because you cannot be working, generating money in your state, and some other states that are just sitting down and they're not just ready to find what it is that they can get out of the state and get to make money. They now benefit from it. I listened to the conversation that you were having with Dari, and he said it correctly. You cannot be making money through something in Lagos or River states, and in the states where you find that they get to destroy these things, they want to benefit from it. It's not
but the concern, if I may cut into your line of thought, yes, is the issue of accountability and corruption.
Yes, they will definitely, because people are watching. For you to now make a noise to say, look, we want to use this money for the people in our state, for the state as it is. I'm sure the people are not just going to sit down and fold their arms, especially.
Have we seen that over the years? Have we seen people hold government to account over the years?
Now, this is a new page. This is a new page. We're just starting. Let's watch and see exactly how this unfolds. I'm sure if you looked at it years ago, people would wonder, whoever is going to start up, to look the people or look the federal government in the face to say, this is what should be done. But two states have woken up to say, we have to do this. And let me quickly say this, Veronica, for states that are not viable, whether in the north, south, east, or west, what is stopping government? Can there be something that they can do about it? Merge states, okay? If you're not able to sustain your state or do what it is that is expected of you, why don't you find another state and get to merge, so that people can get to do exactly what it is that is required of them? You cannot be struggling and you're expecting states that are making money for them to send that money to you. You come cap in hand to the federal government and you get what is called what it is that you think is due to you, but you have no idea where those monies are coming from. So the time to do the right thing is now, and I'm happy that Nigeria is waking up to say, look, we have to do what it is that we need to do. It's not everyone that will go bowing right there in Abuja. You're an elected government official. You have no business with going to say, look, I want to be in the good books of the federal government. No, do your job. And I say to people, as a governor, when you get it right, you don't.
Anyway, she was talking. She said something that I wanted you to perhaps quickly touch on. Merging of states, where some persons are saying we need to create more states.
Why create states where we all agree that it's not viable? Right. I perfectly agree with that. If we have to merge states to ensure that they are viable, we quickly should.
All right.
But you must understand that we can end up merging states in some places when this starts, and we have to create in some other places.
All right.
Where a state is very, very viable and you are obvious that we need more than one state there, create new ones, merge those ones that appear not to be working, and then let the federation move forward.
All right. We'll leave the conversation here now. Dario Odufowokan and Ify Onygbule, thank you so much for your time on the newspaper review.